All right, so hello. We are here for another day of Dance Discovery Week. On the line, on the call, on this video call, we have Susan, otherwise known as Nigerian Jawn, and Kemi, OG.
Hey
And
guys.
today we are going to be talking about y'all's dance journeys. Before we do that, I just want to introduce what we're doing, what this is really quickly. My name is Mélissa Peng, aka Curly Executive. I'm the founder of Pon Di Beat. I can now officially say that both Susan and Kemi are going to be our ongoing instructors for our tutorials, which are officially launching today. So if you are watching this replay and you're seeing it on our website or on YouTube, know that both these women have amazing tutorials you can learn with them regardless of where you're based. Now, if you are based in Houston or New York, you need to go check them out in person because it's an experience. The last thing I'll say is the reason that we're doing Dance Discovery is so that we have a way to discuss and have these real life conversations. So if you're watching the replay, know that we probably have more of these coming if it's this week, and we most definitely will have more in the future. We're trying to start these ongoing conversations. We're trying to make dance more approachable, help you stick to like your goals. And we're so fortunate that we have these women on the line with us. I won't talk too much about all the things that they do, but let me see what we can say off the top of my head. The things that stick out to me the most personally, guys. So with both of you, you, Susan, when I booked you at first, it was so funny. Like you were up and coming, you were rising fast with your following. But the fact that Sioux Nation is at like $127,000 right now is mind blowing to me. The fact that you're so young and you have so many credits to your name. Like I'm popping up Tiana Taylor because I just saw your post about that one, but I know it's like Mr. Easy. There's too many. Was it Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel? I don't know, like nice hosts. I know your name, but I don't know which one they are. But conversation for another day. But you're killing it at such a young age. And so that's something I want to talk about. Like, I think that's really interesting. Kemi, you with your tour, oh my gosh, like you are traveling all over the US. And for me to see such a well-produced tour be put on by an individual and have a charity component associated with it, for you to try to do something different and do a longer form class that actually focused on history and learning the culture and the steps, that to me, like we can like beyond any kind of, other credits placements, etc. That to me is huge too. So like, I just want to kind of give a shout out for that. And it looks like we've got Blossom who's just joined us. So hey, Blossom, definitely
Hi.
use the chat, answer any questions that you may have. I'm going to allow you to talk as well. So if you feel like chiming in, you'll be available to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and promote you to a panelist so you can join in on the video if you choose to. You don't have to, but if you'd like to, we would love to see you. And you're coming just in time. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump in. So the first question I have for both of y'all is, can you give me your first childhood memory of dance? So your first, you laughing, Susan, so we're gonna start with you. What is your first childhood memory of dance?
Oh my goodness. My first earliest childhood of dance was back in Nigeria, right? So, in the culture, when you go to church, you have no choice but to be active in church. You must sing, you must dance, you must do this. So they forced me, keyword, forced me and my cousins to dance for church, and I hated it. Oh my goodness.
You
I
hated it.
hated it. I was like, why am I dancing? What is this? What are you making me do?
Ooh.
So, but that being my earliest memory, it's shocking because I never knew I would gravitate towards dancing so much like this. Because when I first started it, when you forced me to do it, I hated it. Like, stop it. But now that it's just crazy how now I love dance.
Wow. Okay, we're totally coming back to that because That is crazy to me. Like, okay, that start of that journey is quite dramatic. Kemi, what's your first memory of dance?
Yeah, so my first memory of dance was also in Nigeria.
Hey.
But I think it's slightly different. So Sue's was in church, mine was in school. So we used to have these things where whenever somebody had a birthday party or anything, it's always dance competition, dance, dance, dance all the time. And so I just remember, I'm not even sure if I'm remembering it correctly, but I just remember there was one situation where there was a dance competition, and obviously it was with somebody that I was looking at the time, right? I was thinking I like this kind of voice, something, something. And he was doing Michael Jackson and I was doing, I don't know what I was doing, but he won. And I'm very competitive, so I held that on for a long time. So that's literally my first experience. My earliest memory dancing is competing with a guy that I kind of liked in a dance competition in school. So yeah.
Oh wow.
Wow, wow,
Melissa,
wow. Okay, so I love these. So what I want to know is, okay, I guess before we get into like tips, things you've learned, how do you feel that first initial situation, like did it impact you in any way? Did it not? I want to start with Kemi, because like, did that motivate you then? Like, how did that go from there on?
I think a little bit. I mean, back then, dance was very much a part of my, like, me growing up. And so when I moved to the US and, I was around people that weren't like me, like my culture wasn't here, it was those memories of those times that kind of wanted me to kind of reach back and connect back to what I used to feel and how I used to, and like the culture I was always around. And so I think it was the fact that I had those memories that kind of like inspired me and encouraged me to kind of reach back and start like listening to music more and like listening to like looking at watching dance videos more and stuff like that. So yeah.
And Sue, like, I'd love for you to talk about one, like that first memory. And then also, I love that y'all are both talking about Nigeria. We've got a lot of people who are probably watching who know nothing about Nigerian culture, who don't understand how dance is intertwined into so many things. Like, I remember going to my first Nigerian wedding, and it was like the most epic dance experience I'd ever been to in my life. So I'd love for you two to touch on like that first experience. Do you think it affected you? Also, like from there, did you, like from your perspective, like how was it growing up in a Nigerian household, and what did that look like? And then Kemi, if you can talk about that too, because you guys both have that experience, that would be fabulous.
I think my earliest dance memory has no relations whatsoever to me now, because I kind of forgot about it. Like, okay, so the reason why I got into dance is because back then I was such a little naive girl. Like, you tell me something, I believe it, So my cousin literally was telling me, you can dance. I was like, oh, really? I can dance? Okay. And then that was it. That what made me start dancing.
That's it. That's simple?
That's, no, really that simple. It was Step Up series. They came out. And I was so in love with it, and I was like pop lock. And my cousin was like, oh, you can dance. I was like, okay, thank you. But then growing up in the African culture, because I didn't really live in Nigeria for that long. I lived there for like 2 years. So maybe Kemi can speak more on that. But growing in the African culture in America, dancing wasn't something that, you should be focusing on. It's more of an enjoyment. Like, you go out to parties, you dance. But as a full-on job and career, it's like, what is wrong with you, So I was restricted a lot to do what I want to do with dancing. So I don't. Kemi, take the mic.
I mean, child of immigrant Caribbean parents here, I was not allowed to dance. And yeah. I will say that maybe if there was social media in my day, I might have had a chance, but it wasn't happening. Like, it wasn't.
But when I went back to Nigeria this last summer, the dancing community is amazing. They are talented. They are so hungry. Like, I was looking at them like, wow, I'm not even on your level. Please.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, so Kemi, tell us more.
about being in a Nigerian household.
Yeah, what was it like for you with dance?
um, I mean, I lived there for a little bit longer, so I was there for about 6 years.
Whoa.
But I was still really, really young. Like I did my middle school in the US. So it's still like when I was really, really young. So I don't remember too much. Yeah, I don't know if I can give too much, but I do agree
It
with
sounds like
Susan
you
in
had
the sense
memories
that
though that were important to, it sounds like you had memories though that were important to you.
yeah, because I mean, like in primary school, they like at least in my school, we had like a section where we were learning like traditional dance. So we would have dance competitions and stuff like that, but we also had like I wouldn't call it PE because we also had PE, but like we had extracurriculars where you could learn like traditional dance styles and stuff
Yep.
like that. So that was something that I really, really loved. That and theater and like all the arts. And so when I moved here and it was kind of like, we ain't got none of that. It was like, okay, you two, let's go and see what. And so, the biggest one for me, honestly, was like the idea of Makosa because that was so big when I was in Nigeria growing up. And then at least what we used to call it Makosa, but when you talk to somebody who's actually, I think it's Cameroonian, that's where it come from. They said that's not Makosa, it's Dombolo. So that's a different thing. So for a long time, we used to call it Makosa, but it actually wasn't. But that was like the big thing, like the big dance when I was growing up. And when I came to the US, I was like, I can't forget it. And so I would always be looking for videos. And that's how I now started to learn about Awile Longomba and all these other artists and stuff like that. So that's literally how it was for me.
It's really crazy because Kemi is saying how like she got into the culture, and for me it was more like, well, what was Afro? To me was hip hop. You know, because back in the being African wasn't it, and I wasn't always like, you know, like, oh, I'm black and proud. No, it was more of hip hop. So when I learned about Afro and got into the Afro beat, it took a big turn in my life. Like, wow, like it was, yeah. So I was really happy that I got a chance to learn Afro, but I was with hip hop for the longest.
You were with hip hop for the longest. That's so interesting. Okay, so now we're here. We're no longer the kid that doesn't like to dance. Kemi's no longer losing dance battles, men, and so and she's whooping them. So now, right? You're touring, you're performing for big names. Like you guys are growing your Instagram following. So I would love to know, like, what have you guys learned? What are some of the top tips? What have you learned, kind of going through what you've been going through?
Susan, you want to start?
What have I learned?
Yes.
Honestly, okay. One thing for sure I learned is consistency is key. Like if you really believe that if you sit there and just expect it to come to you, you're not gonna get nowhere. I learned that. Cause you know, with the following and the moving up, I learned that you're gonna lose a lot of people in your life. When you're striving, like okay, when you're trying to get a goal and follow your dream, you're gonna lose people in your life. You're gonna have friends and family that you're not gonna be really close to anymore. And then the industry is rough out here. Shout out to all the artists because the industry is really rough out here. Like trying to make it is not easy. I feel like to a lot of people, they see all the after work that's going on, but they don't really see the struggle or the process of getting it. So it's really hard. And I just learned if you literally stay in your lane and you keep going straight, you're not gonna crash nobody to your left, to your right. Being supportive definitely and being uplifting, but mostly patient because people really believe that this all happened in a year, but I've been dancing for like 10 years and now I'm finally doing something. So patience is what I really learned because you will have your ups and you will have downs. You will have so many downs that you feel like giving up, but yeah, patience is really the key. I learned how to be patient. Amen.
Yeah, and to add to that, like for me too, I think it was also hard for me because I was kind of learning on my own for about 5 or 6 years. But then when you move into like the public sphere, it's like starting over. And so you do have to have that patience, because if you don't, you feel like you're rushing through things. And
Mm.
then next thing you know, you might be put in a position and you feel like you don't have you're not sustained. Like it's not, anything that comes too fast is not necessarily good, right? Like the build up actually builds your muscles and builds like your ability to handle certain situations. And for me too, like I kind of wish that I enjoyed the process of learning a little bit more, and even the process that I'm in, like I'm learning to
Mm.
sit down and slow down and enjoy where
Yeah.
I am, because there's going to be a point where if I move up or move to into a different challenge or level, I'm going to appreciate it and look back and be like, dang, man, I loved when I was just, enjoying my life in this situation. So yeah, I definitely think patience is the key. And yes, girl, the industry, if you don't respect yourself, they will not respect you.
They will not respect you, fam.
How?
And honestly, that's really how it is. It's just what can you do about it? You just have to you have to learn how to train your mind to be stronger than your emotions, because there will be so many times where you don't get what you want and it would hurt, but you need to learn how to take that experience, learn from it, and grow. Like I have learned so much because I would have like hopes for something. I would trust an artist, or I would depend too much on somebody, and then I get like F over. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad because now I know what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot play me anymore. I'll just play you right now. Yeah.
It sounds like you guys, you've learned a lot. And what I'm hearing is patience. It's not easy. There's a lot of work that goes into this. There's a lot of persistence. There's a lot of behind the scenes that you don't see. We're not going to dig into it, but I'm hearing that there might not be as much of a rosiness as it relates to working with artists, getting paid and such, as some would think. Like we're not all on tour getting like free things from people and getting treated really well, or sitting in nice places or having great places to rehearse. Like it's not how it
No,
works, right?
no,
No,
no.
No.
no, no. You didn't get gifted something anytime recently? No, you got paid well. You're not getting all these things. No, okay. No. uh,
There's some good artists out there though. There
of
is,
course.
and
No, I
also,
know. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. I was referencing, actually, I just remember seeing Janet's dancers and like them getting
Mm.
all these gifts and her treating them like basically family. And I was like, wow. And then I'm like, nope, not like that for everybody, and for everything. So just, take everything with a grain of salt and know that there is so much work under just the top of the iceberg that you're seeing. Taking that away from this, I want to know, so we've talked about kind of the rise and some of the lessons that we've learned. If you had to choose your top, let's say your top three things, because I know you guys have done a lot of awesome things lately, like that are just awesome, where you're like, that was the best thing ever that has happened to me so far on this journey. What would those things be?
That's hard.
Yeah.
um, wait, what? The top two things that I've
They're
done
just
that have
awesome.
happened.
You're like, yeah, that was awesome. And it could be even something small. Like, was there a class that was particularly like, yeah? Did you book like with a certain artist, one of the performances, any your tour, anything where you're like, that was not just work, it was just amazing. Like for me, I can tell you, like for me right now, as it relates to Pon Di Beat, you guys know it's been a lot of work, y'all. Lots of work, lots of money, time, ever spent. It's a lot. But this moment right here, like what you don't know is that when I bought the domain name for Pon Di Beat, I just looked it up last night. It was December of 2014.
Oh
And
wow.
Wow.
actually, yes. And I bought it because I was based in, so I was not fortunate like all of y'all to have all these people teaching dancehall and Afro, and there's so many different classes, and I can try this and I can try that, and this one has this different style. There was none of that. There was literally like two people, and one was in New York and one was in LA. Okay, that's it. And I was there when dance hall was just starting to become more popular in LA. And so I said, I went to my two favorite choreographers at that time, who, by the way, are still around, and who, by the way, may have even, actually both, have even come on to Pon Di Beat at some point in time as a class. And I said to them, I don't even know if they remember this, I want to start this thing. I bought a domain name. I want to do these dance tutorials. I would like to record you doing the steps so that, you know, I can go home and learn them and other people can go home and learn them. And this was before, I don't even know if there were really lots of dance tutorials. There was like one site where people were like uploading videos of the steps, like that they were trying to collect from Instagram. It's called gangali.net, of dance hall steps. And I was like, that's really cool. I feel like this could be better. Let's do something. I want a real tutorial. Actually, I came up with the idea and someone's like, that already exists. And I was like, no, but that's not what I want to do. Both of them told me no. They were like, absolutely not. And by the way, social media wasn't really a thing in the way that it is then, like now, like, you know, this was, oh my God, how many years ago was this now? What year are we in?
6 years?
6 years ago, right? So 6 years ago. So social media wasn't a thing for dance in the same way, but I was a marketer. So I was like, social media is huge. This is going to be great. Let's do this. We could have all been making a killing by now. I don't know. We could have had hundreds of thousands of tutorials. I mean, I'm crazy, but last night, there is a woman. She answered my post. I posted, I was looking for 40 plus women interested in dance. And she came about, she knows nothing about Afro or dancehall. She tried the tutorial. She was ecstatic. Okay. And she wrote the most amazing review. And literally, y'all, she sent me a video of her trying the tutorial, and she can dance too. I like full on cried. Like last night I was like crying happy too. She's there. Look, and her name's Mélissa too. It's kind of funny. And I was like, Mélissa is amazing. And then this morning, this other woman, and she was random. I don't know her level of dance because she hasn't sent me the full thing, but she sent me her practicing one of Pyrotech's moves. And he says, act as if you're stepping over something. So you've got this woman, and this is what I love about this, is like the all ages aspect. She's a 50 plus woman, and she like puts down her like foam roller, and she's like stepping over it. So she's like doing the practice. And Pyrotech is so technical when he teaches because his moves are and she's literally being extremely technical, and she's just doing this tiny little part of the step over and over, and then she's like, and it was just again like, and she was like, and then she sent this really nice review saying that she had actually wanted to learn it, seen them before, but being able to, like, couldn't remember things, so being able to have it at home and go through the steps, like it was a big deal to her, and how she so appreciated it. The first woman didn't really know like dancehall Afro in the same way. The second one, she had actually gone to a class and knew of Pyrotech, but had no way to like reconnect with him and get that kind of information. And it was just like that to me, to see us bringing what are ultimately cultural dances to people who are not of the culture in a way that's authentic and delivered so that they can actually learn. And like, I just like, I don't know, like that for me was the moment. So it wasn't, and the funnier part of it is, it wasn't because like I'd always wanted to do tutorials. I actually completely forgot about it until we started doing tutorials. And then I was like, wait, this is what I bought this domain for. So it just came full circle, just happened to. But for me, that was my big moment, I think, as it relates to dance now. That and Dancing with Hurricane.
Oh my gosh.
It was because in that moment I was having so much fun that I actually looked at myself while dancing. And like, it's my favorite moment in dance. And it wasn't even a complicated dance or anything. But that Hurricane and the tutorial women, that's like it for me. That's what I pull on. So anyway, tell me, ladies, anything. I want to know one story.
Okay, I think I have two stories.
Good.
Actually, it's funny because I think I kind of shared a little bit of the second story in the tutorials. So if you want to go look at those, you can. But I think the first a big thing for me is definitely the tour. Up until that point, I was, still like looking around, listening, like learning from other dancers, kind of seeing what's out there to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. But it had gotten to a point where I felt like I was like my confidence was kind of shot. I was like, I feel like I can't do a lot of these things. Like I've done things in the past, and like right now I just feel like I'm not showing my value. And so when finally the opportunity for the tour came about, it was kind of like, okay, well, I'm just gonna, do this thing and see where it takes me. Like there's this opportunity, and this is just gonna be a project that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna see where it lands, right? And to be honest, it was, and I'm also proud of this. It's like every single new thing that I do is the hardest thing I've ever done. That was the hardest thing I had ever done at that moment. And people don't understand where it's like you are literally doing 25 jobs at the same time. You are the web designer, you are the graphic designer, you're the marketer, you're the one doing the contracts, you're the one reaching out, you're the one doing calling and everybody to see if there's somebody who can host you in different cities. You're collaborating with the charities, you're buying your tickets and finding where you're going to sleep at night. Like there's so much stuff that goes into this. And then on top of that, like you also need to be making sure that you're like, marketing in a timely manner so that people know the information. And I'm also doing this while I have a full-time job. When I tell you that I almost died. But then after like coming back and seeing like, because we also did this thing where I had people write down like what they thought about each class in this little like Shaggy Squad like book of memories that we were carrying around through the tour. And honestly, looking through those like memories that people have written down, like, oh, this is my first Afro class, and like I didn't know like that there was so much culture and history behind it. Like, thank you so much for breaking stuff down. Like, number one, I felt like because I was doing one thing, I finally like found confidence in myself that I could do whatever I said that I was gonna do. And if I put my mind to it and I put work behind it, it's gonna be hard. As long as I persist, it's going to happen. So that was that example of where, like, for me personally, I had to go out and fight and struggle so that I can come back and be like, okay, I can actually, like, it's gonna be hard, but I can actually do the things that I want to do, and nobody can really get in my way.
So Blossom
asking, yeah. Never mind.
Blossom is asking us, how are you following your passions while still having a full-time job? She wants to know more.
Let's just say they have a lot of 3 a.m. nights.
That would not be me. What? A full-time job while dancing? Are you okay?
Sis, I'm recovering right now. I'm not completely okay yet. I'll
Can you all hear
soon,
me?
But hello?
Yeah. Okay. Hey, y'all. Yeah.
Hi.
I didn't want to interrupt. I'll put on my camera maybe later. But yeah, I'm really interested in hearing that. My eyes just kind of lit up because, doing something as rigorous as dance while also providing for yourself during a full-time job. I know that's hectic. I know that's hellfire. I just want to know, what was like, what was your sleep schedule like? How do you tell your boss that you gotta go, that you can't be here today because you have to prepare? I want to know all of that.
Okay. Maybe we need another webinar because that's a whole conversation on itself. I would say that literally it's a day at a time. There are some days where I was really good with myself and I was like, okay, I'm going to wake up early and I'm going to go to bed early. Like, I had to sacrifice a lot of things to get it done, right? So I couldn't go to as many dance classes. I couldn't train as much. That's one thing. The second thing is I had to, like, communicating with your boss and stuff is a big deal. But I will also say that, and this is very vulnerable for me, is that I really did feel for a long time that when I was working on dance, that I wasn't doing the best that I could at my job. And there's still that Nigerian mentality of dance is not as, is not on the same level as, because I'm an engineer, right? So it's like, oh, dance is not on the same level as engineering. You have to get your master's and then you can do whatever you want. That's what they tell you, right?
Yeah,
so,
that's what they tell you.
So even while I was doing this, there was a level of guilt, like, dang, like I know I'm spending so much time for this because this is what drives me, this is what I'm passionate about, but I feel like I'm not giving everything that I'm supposed to give at my job. And then while I was at work, it's like I'm overcompensating because I feel that way. And then I get to the point where it's like I'm late at work and then I have to go rush home and like figure stuff out. And I feel stressed because I'm like, I don't have enough time to do the dance part. So to be honest, I'm still trying to figure out the balance between the two. And being good to myself and being like, and recognizing that like I am doing a lot and that's okay. And like, if there's some days that you just want to sleep and you don't want to talk to anybody, that's okay too. Like being very forgiving of myself and my weaknesses is a very, very big part of that. But my schedule during that time was that I was working 10-hour, 4-day weeks. So Monday through Thursday, I work like 10 plus hours so that I can make sure I'm meeting my hours for the week. And then Friday, I will leave early, do the workshops during the weekend, and then come back Monday morning and then go to work.
Cannot be me.
And I would say that's not atypical. Being on the booking end of it, there are a lot of people that you would not believe are working full-time jobs while also dancing.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
wow.
Mecca does it.
Mecca does it.
Mecca does it. I was thinking Mecca does it. I know, because we're about to bring out Mecca, and I always have to work around his work schedule. And Mecca is like a pro at traveling. It's like it's very impressive. Like he knows exactly what to put in his bag. He'll come for the day and leave that same day. Like he'll show up the morning, do a class, and then leave, and bam, he's out of your city. It's but Blossom, yeah, like it's real. Like and I would say that, to be honest, like about 50% of the people I book also have a full-time gig that's holding them down.
That's awesome. And what's interesting is that these aren't just server positions or making pizza. No, you have an actual career. So being able to juggle that's astounding. Wow. That's a lot of work, a lot of mental strength.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, could not be me.
Okay, so how do you do it? So since so dance is your full-time job, correct?
Me?
Yes.
Okay.
What she said?
I am still in college.
She's a baby.
Got you.
Baby.
And I'm trying to juggle college and dance. Okay, so here's
You have a full-time job, is studying.
My full-time job now is dance, okay? Because I realize, wow, okay. In school, yeah, I used to be spending late nights dancing, like, because I was in teams and I was doing this. Dance just had my full attention. And I knew I was not ready to be in a school environment because I have to wake up 8 a.m. And the thing about me is that I'm really driven. So if I'm going to be in school, I'm trying to go for the highest, 1.0 GPA, this and that, while also trying to get big roles in dancing. And I just felt like what made me happier was dance. So here's the story behind college. I was there for freshman year. And then my sophomore year, me and my friends, we're all dancers, got this gig to go to LA and like perform like this what up dance thing, J-Lo and J-Lo and Neo were all there. So we had to take a semester off from school, and they told us that we were gonna like be there longer, but things went left. So I was there for like only a week. So now I'm off school. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay, I'll just take this time off to focus on dance. So a semester turned into a year. And a year is still currently not in school.
Oh, wow.
So dancing is my full time because yeah.
But it sounds like you kind of made a choice at this point to focus on that.
I mean, it wasn't really a choice at the moment. Now it's still not a choice because as an African person, you'll never escape from school is where you should be at. My mom still trying to get me back to school. And I want to do online classes, but I just hate how I feel like they don't try to reason with me. Like I get calls randomly. Tuesday morning, I need you to come down to Boston for a performance. If I'm in school, I can't do that. I cannot. So I feel like the way Kemi is able to balance both engineer and then
A whole
dancing
engineer.
and
Wow.
dancing, I'm just like, God, no, I can't.
Yeah, exactly. I just couldn't
No,
imagine, because it sounds like they just call you out of the blue to tell you that you have to go, well, there's opportunity for you. That's pretty much how it works, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think
Wow.
that was what I imagine being the hardest part is the two lovely ladies on the line know I have a lot of things that I juggle. So Blossom, you don't know this, but I have 3 companies that I manage.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And one of the big things I talk about, I'm actually speaking at South by Southwest about action planning for multi-passionate entrepreneurs. So how do you manage multi businesses?
Oh, we need to talk. Yeah, we need to talk.
So follow me at Curly Executive. I'm probably gonna live stream that talk too. I'm trying to get permission from South by Southwest now. But what I would say, and where this gets very difficult as a dancer, is I can tell you I work with people professionally on this all the time, but the biggest key to doing that is scheduling, right? In some capacity. And because you're on the receiving end of gigs, that's where it gets very difficult to manage because you can't schedule that. So it ultimately means you're going to have to pass up on some opportunities.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Stick to your schedule.
100%.
So that's where it's like with dance, it's even more challenging than, let's say, like I run a dance company, a flower hair accessories company, and a marketing company. It's a little crazy. Y'all know I travel a lot. I do a lot of things, but I make the decisions around where I go. Yes, I do miss some opportunities, but it's not the same as they're not career making opportunities. And I think that's what it is. It's like you as a dancer, you're missing opportunities that you may feel could be career making opportunities. And that's where it gets a lot more tricky to manage. So I really applaud you for doing that, Kemi. And Susan, if it's something you want to do, I know you will do it because, I've just decided it's in y'all's blood because all my Nigerians are getting it done. So it just,
myself.
No, but can we talk about the fact that I don't think people talk about it that much, but it's just like the influence of Nigerian culture on this, because the truth of the matter is, let's be real, anything that you put a lot of work into is gonna, especially as Nigerians, there's nothing, if we put set our minds to something, it's gonna happen and it's gonna be done well. Yeah. So it's this idea that, the creative sphere doesn't really pay money, is not sustainable. It can be sustainable if we figure out a system, but it's just that a lot of us dancers don't have that support system from our parents or from our aunts and uncles to actually encourage us to actually work towards that and to work towards that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That was a big, that was part of it. It's like, I went through this last year and I hosted about 20 of y'all dancers. So from dance hall and Afrobeat and Afro, a lot of Afrobeat, frankly, for me, that was hosting. But what was so crazy for me is seeing the level of talent that I had come through the house, and kind of, it just didn't align with what you guys were getting paid. Just the short version of it. At the end of the day, it's like, there's also a reason that you're holding down a full-time job and dancing, right? And it's partly money. And so what was crazy for me was I had these people coming in. I'm like, so you've danced with Michael Jackson and all these big people, and you're still not where I would anticipate you being, right? And so for me, when I saw that, I was like, what's wrong with this equation? And as an organizer of a dance class, that's when I really felt it, because Pon Di Beat classes are not cheap. We try to be somewhat fair with our pay to you guys, and it still doesn't pay out. So I was like, how does this even work? So I think to Kemi's point, that was part of the inspiration of getting to the tutorials. It was beyond like the benefit to us. It was like, okay, we can actually create something where dancers are getting paid consistently, and it's sustainable and it's passive, and they don't have to like abuse their bodies to make that money. And so that was a big part of it to me. And I think that with social media, with so many things that are going on this day and age, and with the fact that you guys are not just dancers, you're mini entrepreneurs, you're people who are doing branding, you're people who are doing social media, you're doing a lot of things. There's so many marketable skills that could actually generate income beyond the dance, but they're completely tied to the dance. And I think for me, what I hear you saying, and or at least how it's translating into my head, Kemi, is like, if we could sit down and work on this effectively together as a group, there's so many ways you can make money that could make that career a lot more sustainable and easier to manage, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's, I don't know, I think that's exciting. I think we're trying to take one step in that direction with what we're doing and with our compensation plan. Because I think the other piece that I will say is like, we sat down and thought of a compensation plan where you guys keep getting paid. I won't name names, but there are other tutorial places out there right now that exist that do not do that at all. It's like upfront, you're gone, and pennies, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, that's what's really interesting. It's like, I think there's more, like, I feel like y'all are in a position now with your social media followings and with the brands that you're building to start working together to demand more and to start creating your own things that people are going to want and are going to have to pay for because you force them to pay for. Because I'm seeing this on the business side, and I'm seeing all these people come out with things that involve you, use you, profit from you, but that don't actually pay you, or that pay you in an old-fashioned way, which is just like, we're going to pay you once, but we're going to make money forever.
And I do, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go.
Oh, I have a follow-up question.
Yes.
This is gonna sound horrible, but how do you determine your worth? I know no one will pay you the amount you're worth because you're a human being. But you know, is it based off of who you dance with on stage? Is it based on your following? Is it what is it based off of?
To me, it's based on the amount of work, sweat, and time put into my craft. I do not just wake up one morning and then dance. No, and make a choreo and I do not wake up morning and take a choreo out of my butthole. Like, no, you have to wait for that. You have to train. And then I feel like for me, my followings and my credits, it took years to get there. You will show me my respect because I did my part. I feel like artists get upset when dancers give them a rate that's probably like too much. And you're just like, listen, do you know what I have to do to get this done for you? Mm-hmm. You don't know that it's literally a lot. Like, it's really a lot. Trying to make a choreo and put things together and and make an art that you love and others will love, to grab people's attention, to make sure that you're a kid. I feel like for me also, social media, to keep on going, to keep on getting followers, to keep on getting views and opportunities, you have to keep on knowing what to do to grab attention. It's not easy at all.
There's a whole job.
Because everyone is dancing. Everyone is dancing, but what am I doing differently? Or what what do I know what to do to not be like this person and to be Nigerian Jawn? So I feel like the sweat and the tears and the time, that's how you know your worth.
Mm-hmm.
Pay me my money.
And you have to remember, like, not all artists have this, but even bigger artists, they have people underneath them that can do that work for them, right? A lot of us artists, we're doing all this stuff by ourselves. Not to mention the fact, and just to add to what Susan is saying, right? The whole goal, the goal for all of us is to eventually get to a point where we're doing what we love full time. If I want to do what I love full time, I need to charge the cost it will take me to do this full time. So Absolutely. How much is it going to cost me to just live my life? That I'm not starving and drinking gari all the time. I would like to drink something eat something more than just gari. I would like to eat meat or chicken.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yes.
What is that going to cost me, right? Thinking you don't
Right.
even have to do like for a whole year. You could do it for a month. What is it going to cost me to live a decent lifestyle? Not lavish, but just a decent lifestyle. Okay, bet that's your base rate, at least. Just that number. The next thing you need to think about is, what is it going to take me to be the best dancer that I can be? That's training. That could be anywhere from $300 to $500 a month, depending on where you are. Then you have, if I get injured, how long is it going to take me to recover, and how much is that going to cost? Health insurance is extremely,
I'll get
we really want to
injured.
talk about? You
I
really
get
want to talk about that? Like, and then you come into these situations, and then you having this artist that's like, okay, so there's even, let's table that one, right? Then it's like, okay, you actually finally have the situation where the artist is coming. The value that some artists have on dancers is below zero. That means some of us are coming to pay expenses to be on your stage. Like, we've had situations, you're working more than 20 hours, you're doing choreography, you have to do your own makeup, you have to buy your own costume. The shoe that you're wearing that is shining on the stage, you went to go and buy it, they didn't buy it for you, right? And then all your training just so that they can be looking nice on stage, and then they will come and give you $20. The $20 you want to go and spend on the parking fee that they didn't even
Like, let me
give for
tell
you.
you.
Wow.
Because
So
I feel like for me personally, also, okay, one thing I look at is that I was dancing for 10 years now. So of course, when I first started dancing, you don't really know me. No one knows my name. But I was so hungry for opportunities or exposure, what they call it. Like, I literally had so many moments where I would travel from one state to another with my money. I would still have to find transportation to get back and home. You're not feeding me, and then all you pay me is $50, and I still had to find a way to get home. I have a time when I was on set and I sprained my knee, and you're only paying me about $150. Now I have a sprained knee, and I still have to keep going because dance is my life, my full-time job. But yeah, I didn't get paid enough for this to get hurt. You feel me? There's time where dancers literally don't even get paid at all and do artists favors. I feel like dancers like that who literally have went through that experience with having to, you know, do a lot for little. Because when you start dancing, you don't automatically be like, I'm gonna charge you this much, like give me $300. Like, no, you do have to build up. So I feel like dancers that have already been through that build up and have worked through years to get to where they are right now, they should know their worth, charge how much they want to charge. And I feel like we'll make it better if we all as dancers come together and be like, no. Because I peep one thing that they do is that they will go to two different dancers. If one say 300 and they're like, no, that's too much. Go to the next one, 200, that's too much. Go to another one, 150, ding, 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 I'm gonna just to pick this dancer. And it's scary because we know that we're kind of disposable as dancers because they can just get anybody else they want to do it for lower. So I feel like if everyone just come together and be like, no, this is my price, then they will have no choice but to start paying dancers the price that we deserve.
Yeah, I was
exactly.
What you're saying, when I was in Jamaica, it was so interesting because here people are doing crazy things like you get $10 classes, this, that, etc. I don't do that on my end, but when I was in New York, I was like, okay. When I got to Jamaica, you cannot get a class under $25 in Jamaica. Like, they don't play that. And the teachers, they talk and they're raising their prices. I literally was told, like, yep, we're raising our prices. And they just have a range, and they're not going to go below that range because they know that it affects the whole, and it affects the whole market. And then we start competing with each other. And I don't even know if it's a planned thing. Like, they're like, we're not doing that, this and that, but that's kind of where they are. And it was really cool to see because you're like right away, like, okay, like they value their time. And that's like, you're a group of 6 people, they don't care. That's their price, right? They'll flex a little bit, but they have kind of at least like a really strong baseline. And so I would just say, like, it's been really interesting that we ended up having this conversation. I know, like, Easy's been posting a lot about this subject. And then randomly, Blossom, you just asked about this, but yesterday, an artist hit me up for a performance for South by Southwest, and she wants to pay people basically $100 for like hours and hours and hours of work. So, you know, 4 hours, but no rehearsal pay. So it's really interesting that, like, I feel like this is really relevant. And I think it's really important, particularly to me in Afro and dancehall, like, it's really important. And then low key, I find it offensive sometimes because I'm like, we're willing to pay random person X who has no skill, you know, 20 something dollars for a yoga class. But like, you don't want to pay somebody who's like performing with celebrities and doing all this crazy stuff and who's basically a solo business entrepreneur at a reasonable rate. Like, it's a disconnect for me. And I feel like even with certain dance styles, I see a big difference. Like, I see that master classes and traveling choreographers in hip hop and some of the other styles will get paid more sometimes than our Afro people. And that's, again, somewhat offensive to me. So I just feel like, you know, you guys are all kind of coming into this and y'all are new to the scene, but I'm excited to see how it matures because you are all very business minded. And so I anticipate that won't keep happening so long, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
Before we wrap up, do you have one more question?
No, I wanted to figure out, because I have to leave right now. So I wanted to know if there is any way I can keep in contact with you all. I know that you all are both on Instagram, but I missed the interview a while back. So, well, the one that's happening now is recorded, I think, right?
Yeah, this is totally recorded. So
okay.
The replay is going to be posted if you go to pondibeat.com/discovery week. The replay will be posted there and you can totally watch it. The replay is going to be there until the 23rd. But then today, I don't know if you heard us say that, we mentioned it again. Kemi and Susan, their tutorials are going to go live. So we're going to be selling their tutorials. And this is also going to be bonus content in their tutorials. So
Gotcha.
you can kind of have it forever if that's something.
Okay, awesome.
If that's what you want.
Yes, that's good. Thank you all so much. Yes, I have to get going right now, but I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Our time too. Any closing statements, Susan, Kemi? I know we're a little over, which is awesome. We had a great conversation. Anything you want to say to people? Goodbye. All right, guys.
Yeah.
We will see.
Consistent is key, and patient is key. Consistent is key. Patient is key.
And follow her. Follow both these ladies if you're not following them any yet. Wow, I'm like done. Anything? Get the last word.
Kemi and Jawn.
Yeah, I think for me it's just be like, just enjoy the process of being a dancer, like enjoy every moment of it. Make sure to stand for yourself and to stand for like what you believe in, and if you believe that you can do it and you're willing to work to it, it's gonna happen. But just be patient and ensure that like things are gonna come in its time. But yeah, this was actually a really, really awesome conversation. I'm glad we're here. And yes, you can follow me at kemi.ochi for more deliciousness and sugar. So yeah.
All right, I'm gonna stop this recording now, but the replay is going to be live on pondibeat.com/discovery week.